Once upon a time, there was a girl named Cinderella. She was kind and beautiful. She lived in a big house with her stepmother and two stepsisters. Cinderella's real mother had died when she was very young. Her father remarried, but he also passed away soon after. Now, Cinderella lived with her stepmother and stepsisters, who were very mean to her. Cinderella's stepmother did not treat her like a daughter. Instead, she made Cinderella do all the housework. Cinderella had to sweep the floors, wash the dishes, and clean the rooms. Every morning, she woke up early to work. Her stepsisters did not help her. They only gave her more work to do. Cinderella wore old, dirty clothes. Her stepsisters, however, had beautiful dresses and shiny shoes. They always made fun of Cinderella. "Look at your dress. It's so ugly," they said. "You are not like us. You are just a servant." Even though they were cruel, Cinderella stayed kind. She dreamed of a better life. One day, a royal messenger came to the house. He brought a letter from the king. The letter said, "The prince is having a ball at the palace. All young women in the kingdom are invited." The stepsisters were very excited. They wanted to meet the prince and marry him. Cinderella also wanted to go to the ball. She asked her stepmother, "Can I go too?" Her stepmother laughed and said, "You? Go to the ball? You have no dress, no shoes, and no jewels. You will stay home and clean the house." Cinderella felt very sad. She helped her stepsisters get ready for the ball. They put on their fancy dresses and jewelry. Then they left for the palace, laughing and talking about the prince. After they left, Cinderella sat by the fireplace. She cried quietly. "I wish I could go to the ball," she said. Suddenly, a bright light filled the room. A woman with a kind face appeared. She had a wand in her hand. "Don't cry, my dear," said the woman. "I am your fairy godmother. I will help you go to the ball." The fairy godmother waved her magic wand. "Abracadabra," she said. Suddenly, a pumpkin outside turned into a golden carriage. Some mice turned into horses, and a rat became the coachman. Then, the fairy godmother looked at Cinderella's dress. "This will not do," she said. She waved her wand again. Cinderella's old dress became a beautiful ball gown. On her feet were sparkling glass slippers. Cinderella looked at herself. "Oh, thank you, fairy godmother," she said. She felt so happy. The fairy godmother smiled and said, "Remember, the magic will end at midnight. You must leave the ball before the clock strikes 12. Cinderella got into the golden carriage and went to the palace. When she arrived, everyone at the ball turned to look at her. She was so beautiful that they thought she was a princess. Even her stepmother and stepsisters did not recognize her. The prince saw Cinderella and walked up to her. "Will you dance with me?" he asked. Cinderella said yes. They danced together all evening. The prince could not take his eyes off her. Cinderella was so happy. She forgot about the time. Suddenly, the clock began to strike midnight. "Oh no," she said. "I must go." Cinderella ran out of the palace. The prince called after her, "Wait. I don't even know your name." As she ran down the stairs, one of her glass slippers fell off. Cinderella did not stop to pick it up. She got into the golden carriage, and just as the clock struck 12, the magic ended. The carriage turned back into a pumpkin, and the horses turned back into mice. Cinderella was in her old clothes again. The next day, the prince sent his royal messenger to find the girl who had danced with him. He had Cinderella's glass slipper. "The girl whose foot fits this slipper will be the prince's bride," the messenger said. The messenger went to every house in the kingdom. Many girls tried on the slipper, but it did not fit anyone. Finally, the messenger came to Cinderella's house. The stepsisters tried on the slipper, but their feet were too big. Cinderella said, "May I try?" Her stepmother and stepsisters laughed. "The slipper will never fit you," they said. But the messenger let Cinderella try. She put her foot into the slipper, and it fit perfectly. The messenger smiled and said, "You are the one. The prince has been looking for you." The messenger took Cinderella to the palace. When the prince saw her, he was so happy. "Will you marry me?" he asked. Cinderella said yes. The prince and Cinderella had a grand wedding. Everyone in the kingdom was invited. Even Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters came to the wedding. They apologized for being mean to her. Cinderella forgave them because she had a kind heart. Cinderella and the prince lived happily ever after. She became a princess, but she never forgot her humble beginnings. She helped the poor and treated everyone with kindness. Her story teaches us that being kind and patient can lead to a happy ending. And so, the tale of Cinderella reminds us to always believe in magic, hope, and the power of a kind heart.